After 8 months of racing, the season comes to an end here today at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. 4 drivers, Daniel Suarez, Jimmie Johnson, Austin Dillon, and Keslowski, are all trying to compete for the championship. Who will win the championship here today? Now let's take a look at your non-playoff drivers to watch out for today. Kyle Larson starts on pole today in his final start for Chip Ganassi Racing. He has completed his sensitivity training and will move over to the 08 car next year for A North Racing. He is hoping to win in his final start for Chip Ganassi Racing. Alex Bowman won last race at Martinsville and is hoping to go back-to-back here today. He's hoping to become the 3rd driver with multiple wins this season. Could he possibly do it? And finally, Paul Menard. Paul Menard returns after suffering a vicious wreck at the Northville City Race Center, as here it was. This was the 2nd race of this season. He came over the corner. He got a little bit of a bump from Kyle Busch, and then it came flying over the edge and was out for most of all the season. Matt Crafton and Austin Dillon took over for the 21 while Paul Menard recovers, and now Paul Menard is ready to go racing again. He is planning on racing in the next year's Daytona 500. Could Paul Menard possibly get a good run here today? Now it's time for the Pro Gear Tire pre-race stories, as all of our peer reporters are down with one of the playoff drivers. Let's send down to Toby. Toby?
Daniel Suarez is a driver who is an underdog in the championship for. Suarez has only won 1 race this season at Kansas and has been very quiet this season. Stewart-Haas Racing announced that Suarez would not return, so Suarez is looking to win the championship in his final start for Stewart-Haas Racing. Jennifer.
A driver who has been in contention in almost every race this season is Austin Dillon. He has led the series with 4 pole starting spots and has won a race at Michigan. He is hoping to win RCR their first NASCAR Authentics Hot Wheels Cup Series championship. Daniel.
A driver who is no stranger to the championship is 7-time Cup champion Jimmie Johnson. He has won 2 races this season at Las Vegas and Bristol, and has been solidly consistent in most all the races. He is looking to win the championship here today. Dave.
No driver has been as dominant as Brad Keselowski this season. He has made it into the final stage in all but 2 races. He has also won at Daytona and the Charlotte Roval this season. Keselowski is hoping to end this dominant season off with a championship. Back to you, Aiden.
Thanks, Dave, and to all of our peer reporters. A great job this season. Now it's time to take a look at your GoPro on-track car here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. So it's a track that is similar to Michigan, but not quite. It's a little bit shorter straightaway before they enter the curve. So here you go, down the straightaway to a left-hander now, and then to a little bit long sweeping straightaway to the finish line. Now let's send it trackside for the command to fire engines.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, the star of the NBC drama Manifest, Josh Dallas.
Drivers, start your engines!
The engines have been fired for the final time this season as we're ready to go racing here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Your pace car driver today is Red Crash Speedway. He is going to be driving the Range Rover Velar, as he will be out whenever there's a caution. So now we're ready for segment number 1 to begin. In row 1 is the 42 car of Kyle Larson and the 8 car of Daniel Hemrick. In row 2 is the 10 car of Eric Almirola and the 9 car of Chase Elliott. In row 3 is the 11 car of Denny Hamlin and the 1 car of Kurt Busch. Then rounding out the field is the 4 car of Kevin Harvick. Kyle Larson is going to win segment number 1 and will move on to the final stage, as no one else really could catch up to Kyle Larson as they kind of got bunched up around that corner. And Eric Almirola is going to manage to get second in that segment. Good job for him, as he's had a kind of a rough season. But Kyle Larson finishes first, Eric Almirola second, Daniel Hemrick third, Denny Hamlin 4th, Chase Elliott in 5th, Kevin Harvick 6th, and Kurt Busch in 7th. Now we move on to segment number 2. In row 1, we got the 14 car of Clint Bowyer and the 6 car of Ryan Newman. In row 2 is the 88 car of Alex Bowman and the 01 car of Kiko Moon. Then in row 3, we got the 81 car of Eddie Gallagher and the 19 car of Martin Truex Jr. Then rounding out the field is the 18 car of Kyle Busch. Bowyer wins that segment in dominant fashion, but Kiko Moon makes a great move on lap number 1 to get around for second at the moment, as both Newman and Bowman got caught up in a wreck, and Kiko Moon goes through the outside to take second place, but manages to lose it on lap 4 because he really didn't have any help, because the 3 dominant cars were on the inside, and Ryan Newman was able to get the run off the corner and take second place. So then Clint Bowyer is going to finish first, Ryan Newman second, Kiko Moon in third, Alex Bowman fourth, Kyle Busch in fifth, Martin Truex Jr. in sixth, and then Eddie Gallagher, a tough performance, finishes in seventh. Now we move on to segment number 3. In row 1 is our first playoff driver of the night, Daniel Suarez, and to his outside is the 12 car of Ryan Blaney. In row 2 is the 24 car of William Byron and the 21 car of Paul Menard. In row 3, we got the 43 car of Bubba Wallace Jr. and the 28 car of Joseph West. Then rounding out the field in the 20 car is Eric Jones. That was a tough performance for Daniel Suarez as he fell back on lap number 1 and never really recovered coming to the front row. But Paul Menard is your segment winner as he did a great job of getting around the outside in lap number 4, as you see here, as it looked like that Blaney and Suarez were bumper to bumper and really couldn't get anything together until coming off the corner. As Daniel Suarez will finish third in that segment, but it's going to be a little bit tough for him to work his way into the top 4. As Paul Menard finishes first, Ryan Blaney second, Daniel Suarez third, Bubba Wallace fourth, Joseph West fifth, William Byron sixth, and Eric Jones in seventh. Now we move on to segment number 4, which is probably the biggest one of them all. In row 1 are 2 playoff drivers, the 2 car of Brad Keselowski and the 3 car of Austin Dillon. In row 2, another playoff driver, Jimmie Johnson, and the 22 car of Joey Logano. In row 3 is the 17 car of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and the 95 car of Matt Benedetto. Then rounding out the field in the 35 car is Timmy Hill, and in the 13 car is Ty Dillon. Joey Logano wrecks out here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, and in a rare occasion. We rarely don't see any wrecks here. And here it is, lap 3. This wasn't the wreck, but this is when he took the lead, as he's going to push Keselowski to the lead. But then all 3 of them tangle up, and Logano slides right by to take the lead. So then heading into lap 4, he's leading with Keselowski pushing him. The Chevy's on the outside. So then I don't know if it was either too big of a push by Keslowski or that it looks like Jimmie Johnson might have gotten into him. But either way, Austin Dillon will slide right by unscathed and will take this segment win and move on to the final stage. And so Austin Dillon first, Jimmie Johnson second, Brad Keselowski third, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. fourth, Matt DiBenedetto fifth, Ty Dillon sixth, Timmy Hill in seventh, and Joey Logano in eighth. So we'll take a quick break and be right back with the remaining of the race. Welcome back. We are now ready for the 6th and 7th race to begin. We got William Byron and Martin Truex Jr. going to lead the field down. Which driver will work his way up into the 4th and 5th race? William Byron won the 6th and 7th race after the field gets tangled up after the corner, as I'm not sure really what happened. Maybe the field just gets bunches up, and William Byron gets turned by Truex, and William Byron's going to hold off Eddie Gallagher to take to win. So Byron first, Eddie Gallagher second, Martin Truex Jr. third, Kevin Harvick fourth, Eric Jones fifth, Ty Dillon sixth, Kurt Busch seventh, and Timmy Hill in eighth. Now we're ready for the 4th and 5th race to begin, where Martinsville race winner Alex Bowman and the 11 car of Denny Hamlin will lead the field down. Which driver will work his way to the front and move on to the 2nd and 3rd race? And just like the 6th and 7th race, the 4th and 5th race results in the Joe Gibbs Racing teammate to wreck a Hendrick car. As that looks like exactly what happened, but Bowman is able to work his way into the 2nd and 3rd race. So Bowman first, Joseph West second, Denny Hamlin third, Bubba Wallace fourth, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. fifth, Chase Elliott sixth, William Byron seventh, Kyle Busch eighth, and Matt DiBenedetto in ninth. Now it's time for the 2nd and 3rd race to begin. In row 1, we got the 12 car of Ryan Blaney and the 6 car of Ryan Newman. In row 2 is the 10 car of Eric Almirola and the 48 car of Jimmie Johnson. In row 3 is the 2 car of Brad Keselowski and the 41 car of Daniel Suarez. Row 4 is the 8 car of Daniel Hemrick and the 01 car of Kiko Moon. Then rounding out the field, and the 88 car is Alex Bowman. The pressure is on for Jimmie Johnson, Brad Keselowski, and Daniel Suarez. If none of them make it into the final stage, then Austin Dillon's your champion. But if they do manage to make it into the final stage, then who knows who the champion could be. Jimmie Johnson and Brad Keselowski's chances of winning a championship are still alive, while Daniel Suarez's are vanished, as Jimmie Johnson takes the lead in lap 2 of 4. Then lap 4, the field gets bunched up again, but Johnson was able to hold the lead and take it home the victory. Suarez tried getting around on the outside, but could not do it and would not move on. So Jimmie Johnson finishes first, Ryan Blaney second, Brad Keselowski third, Aric Almirola fourth. Those 4 will move on to the final stage. Ryan Newman 5th, Daniel Suarez 6th, Daniel Hemrick 7th, Kiko Moon in 8th, then Alex Bowman in 9th. It's now time for the final stage. In row 1 is the 42 car of Kyle Larson and the 14 car of Clint Bowyer. In row 2, a playoff driver, the 3 car of Austin Dillon and the 21 car of Paul Menard. In row 3, a 48 car of Jimmie Johnson and the 12 car of Ryan Blaney. Then rounding out the field is the 2 car of Brad Keselowski and the 10 car of Aric Almirola. Who will win here at Homestead-Miami, and who will become the first ever champion of the NASCAR Authentics Hot Wheels Cup Series? Clint Bowyer wins at Homestead-Miami, and Jimmie Johnson your champion after a crazy lap number 4. As Dillon was in the lead, but he gets turned by Kyle Larson, and that prevents him from taking the lead. Let's go back to look at this even closer. So here you go. He looks like he's going to try to block high with Larson, and then Larson may clip him. I don't know if this was intentional. Remember, they both had a run-in at Talladega, where Larson was eliminated after that round. But Bowyer and Johnson sneak underneath them to stay unscathed and to win. Yeah, in that angle, it looks like Larson actually turned Austin Dillon around on purpose. But very interesting. We'll have to see what happens later on. But Clint Bowyer is your winner here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Jimmie Johnson is going to be your champion. Austin Dillon finishes 3rd. Blaney 4th. Kyle Larson 5th. Brad Keselowski 6th, Paul Menard in 7th, and Aric Almirola in 8th. So now it's time for your Danny's Donut Shop victory celebration, as both Clint Bowyer and Jimmie Johnson will burn it down for their win and the championship. Clint Bowyer will take the final win in the first Season 1 of the NASCAR Authentics Hot Wheels Cup Series. A great job by Bowyer to avoid that wreck, to take Jimmie with him to win the race. And we go to pit road now, as both Kyle Larson and Austin Dillon are not happy with each other after Dillon's championships were dashed after Kyle Larson's move to wreck him. I don't know exactly what happened, but hopefully those guys will figure it out. Now let's take a look at your finishing positions here from Homestead-Miami. Bowyer's your winner. Johnson, your champion, finishes 2nd. Dillon 3rd. Blaney 4th. Larson finished 5th. Paul Menard in his final start finishes 7th. Suarez 10th. Keselowski finished 6th. Kiko Moon 12th. Joseph West 14th. Some notable performances. Now here are your 21st through 29th. Some unnotable positions. Eddie Gallagher finished 22nd, and Joey Logano, who wrecked out, finished 29th. Poor runs for those guys, as hopefully next season they can do a little bit better, especially around the Erik Jones, Kevin Harvick, who had really bad seasons. Now let's take a look at your final season standings after 13 races. Jimmie Johnson sits on top of that with 10 top 10s, 7 top 5s, 1 pole, 2 wins. Austin Dillon 2nd with 1 win, 4 poles, 8 top 5s, and 11 top 10s. Brad Keselowski sits 3rd with 2 wins, 1 pole, 4 top 5s, but 12 top 10s. So great job this season by Brad Keselowski. Now let's head trackside, where the championship trophy presentation is going on, as Jimmie Johnson is your 2019-2020 champion, as Commissioner Orth is giving Johnson the trophy. Johnson won at Bristol and at Las Vegas in a great season he had this year. He looked like he kind of struggled in practice earlier today, but manages to work it up and finish 2nd here today to win the championship. So thank you all for watching. This channel has grown so much from this series. as the Police Chase series will be coming up next in a few days. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I can't wait to see you all again soon. So I'm A North, and I'll see you in the next one.